Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, Today I want to talk about echinacea, also called the coneflower, also called snake root, also called hedgehog. And one of the reasons I think it's really cute about hedgehog is the actual center of the flower, when it's dry, looks like this. It's and let me tell you, those are sharp and prickly, and those are the seeds. And so I actually looked it up. I did some research. So here's the thing with me and herbs. You know, I'm a fire witch. I love fire. Fire is my first source of power when I'm doing spell work. Don't know why. I'm an air sign, so I don't know. Well, I guess the air feeds fire, whatever. um, but I herbs is my second choice. I love herbs. I love the feel of herbs. Just not just the texture, but I just love having that in my hand. I guess, and I love gardening. So maybe it's just that earth property that I really love about the herbs. So, but anyway, the yeah, so I'm going to plant some of those seeds. That's where I was headed to. I love that it's called hedgehog, and I wanted to save some of the seeds and see if I can't get them planted next spring. And I'll start them in the greenhouse and see what happens. All right, so most know then that echinacea is really good for tea, medicinal tea. But that is not what I wanted to talk about. So as I was looking up the herb, because like I said, I mean, I do work with a lot of herbs. That would be my second choice of work. And this is going to sound really, I don't know even what to say, how this is going to sound, but um, besides just like basic common herbs like lavender or chamomile or, you know, your basic herbs or herbs that I work with all the time, like chicory root, you know, burdock root, things like that, that I work with all the time. I literally have to look up herbs because I cannot remember all the properties. So when it came to echinacea, other than I knew that it was good for, you know, boosting your immunity, it's good if you have a cold or you're not feeling well, drink echinacea tea. I did know that, but I wanted to go. I needed to learn a little bit more about it because I had some growing in my yard. And typically, and I planted them about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And they bloom a flower or two. And I let the bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds, I just let them have it. I've never done anything with it other than just let it grow. They're pretty. And I hate, that's the other thing. I grow all these flowers and they're beautiful, except for this year because the heat is just destroying everything. Um, but I love my flower garden. I love my herb garden and I love the veggie garden. But this year, not so much. Nothing is doing well, sadly. But I love the flower garden when it's in bloom. I just love it. It makes me feel a certain way. So I don't like to cut those flowers and bring them into the house. I don't like to do that. And I know that it's like giving them, somebody told me once, like giving them a haircut. You know, it makes them fuller and healthier and all of that. Some flowers are supposed to, you know, pick the dead heads off and all that, but I just kind of let Mother Nature do what she thinks is best. And but anyway, so I do drink echinacea tea, mostly in the winter, and mostly usually when I have a lot of classes that I'm teaching, or if I have a lot of tarot readings, or if I'm doing a lot of talking on here, or just whatever, when I'm using my voice box a lot, tends to hydrate my throat. I have allergies all year to different things. Who knows what? I do know in the fall, winter time, I have mold allergies. But even in the summer, I don't have the sneezy nose, itchy eye kind of allergies. I have a lot of mucus. I know it's gross, but I do. I'm always doing that. And the echinacea tea I have found helps with that. So I do drink it for that. However, so as I'm reading about the echinacea, just learning about it, because I thought, oh, you know, this year I think it's got more buds this year. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to harvest it and you know, make my own tea. So I'm reading about it, and then something hit me. As I'm reading about it, you know, what it does and all of that, I'm like, wow, you know, it's really good for, it helps warm you up when you're not feeling good. It boosts your immune system. It strengthens your immune system. All of those things. And I started thinking about August 1st, coming up, I think it's next week or something, is Lughnasadh, Lammas, for those of you that celebrate that. It's not that I don't celebrate it, but I have a really hard time doing, like, putting together a ritual for it. I might light a candle or something, but it's not one of those Sabbats that I really get into. So that comes to mind because I started thinking about it, and I was like, wow. In the book it said, my book of herbs said that you don't ever want to harvest echinacea until about the 3rd or 4th year, because the root really needs to get a strong foundation, and you want everything to be hardy and healthy on the plant. And I went, well, isn't that interesting? Because I planted this about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is the first year that it's looking really good. It has a lot of blooms. Most of the time it would just have 1, maybe 2 blooms on it. It was all I would ever get. This year I had 5, and I let the bees and the hummers and everybody have their fill. And then I thought, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna harvest those. Not the whole plant, because there's still blooms going on it. But I wanted those flowers. And I hate doing it. I hate cutting back my flowers, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I cut the 5 flowers off, and I pulled the petals. Everything is I dried everything. So I'm gonna make some echinacea tea. But the more I started, as I'm pulling the petals off and I'm examining everything, I'm dissecting this poor little flower, looking at it and dissecting. I'm like, wow, you know, it's really weird that we're still in summer, right? I mean, this is midsummer. It's hotter than blazes out there. It's probably in the 90s today. It's just dreadfully hot. And the echinacea is doing really well. So I thought, you know, Lughnasadh is the first harvest of the Sabbat. It's the, you know, it's the first harvest. And because we have the summer solstice and we move into Lughnasadh, and Lughnasadh is when the crops are ready, and so that's the first harvest. And I went, well, that's pretty ironic because this is the first harvest of my echinacea. And for those of you that go, oh, big deal, it's just an herb, wow, whoopee. Yeah, because the thing is, I harvest my herbs for sure. I've got mints, different kinds of mints. I harvest my vegetables when they grow. This year, not so good. But it's not that I've never harvested and that I've never dried. It's just this particular herb at this particular time of year where these synchronicities kind of started coming into play. The first time I'm going to harvest them, this is my first harvest. The first harvest of the Sabbat, or I'm sorry, of the Wheel of the Year is coming up next week, I believe. It's August 1st. I think it's next week. Like, that was exciting. Echinacea warms you up, builds your immune system, strengthens your immune system. When I looked up the magical properties, which, by the way, there was not very many, there was not a lot of information about magical properties of echinacea. And you know me, I got to be out of the box. I've always got to be, doing something a little bit different because it's just how I work. Um, it helps, um, it helps strengthen, that isn't the word, it adds more power to your intention. It strengthens your intention. Um, and it also increases and helps your psychic insight, gives you insight. And I'm sitting there going, okay, wow, because I'm sitting here looking at the echinacea, trying to get more insight on it. I just said I drink echinacea when I'm doing a lot of tarot. um, and if it strengthens, if it gives power to your intentions, to your spell work, don't we all want that? Like, yeah, I definitely, who doesn't? It amplifies whatever it is that you're doing. So I thought, wow, okay, I'm doing something this year privately for, like, on my own. Oh, I say privately, I just mean on my own. On my own. No, our group. We were going to do something for Lughnasadh. One of the girls was going to, and I don't know. We ended up. I don't know. I guess we're not doing it, which is fine because there's so much going on. So, but anyway, I wanted to do this, whether we were or we weren't having a thing. So I started getting myself together, and I started just really dissecting everything and thinking about, this does this and this does that. And I decided that I'm going to use it as a first harvest magical working. That's what I feel like it was meant for me this year, considering I started dissecting it and thinking, oh wow, this is the first, and this is literally, I swear, this is the first time that I have researched echinacea. I mean, I knew that it helped for colds and stuff, and that was it, So I did the work. I looked it up. I kind of sat with it, figured, dissected it some more, figured out, just, putting synchronicities together. First harvest is coming up. Let's do something. The tea warms you, the sun warms us. The plant is still growing. Hey, I'm growing. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still doing, I'm still out there on this journey, this magical journey that is just incredible. It's incredible. So what I decided to do was I'm doing magical. I'm doing a bath work. I'm going to take a bath and I'm going to be using this working that I'm doing. So first, what's really cool, and let me just tell you, like, if I know you're watching the video and you want to get to the end, I'm going to add some still photos of just, the plant, just a couple things. But there'll be one picture. I'm going to show you my bathtub. I have an old antique iron bathtub. It's not a clawfoot tub. It's actually a pedestal tub. And it's the coolest thing ever. And I'm not like bragging on it. I'm just saying it's cool to be in there when you're doing meditation or you're doing journey or you're doing some kind of rituals, spell work, whatever it is. And so, yeah, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing, but then I'm going to actually do it on Lughnasadh in honor of that Sabbath. So the first harvest. I mean, I don't. things just came, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. Okay, so I am going to I'm going to create this bath, right? Um, I did not bring my mortar pestle out here. So I have this little bowl and I'm just going to, really I'm not crushing anything. I'm just going to use my little spoon. Here we go. My little, and I get thrift store. I got the whole set, like I swear, at the thrift store. And, oh, I think it's owls. It's precious. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm just going to be using this bowl. I'm also adding, so what I'm doing is I'm making the herbal bath product that I'm going to be using. Um, Let me tell you this, do not put herbs directly in your water, letting them float around. I know it's really aesthetic looking, um, but the problem is, unless you have a really good strainer when you let the water out, those herbs will, and have clogged a drain. So I usually advise everyone to use either a tea strainer. You can use a tea strainer, put everything you want in there, and or I like to use the little tea bags, the little muslin tea bags, and I put everything in there. And then once my water's run, I take the bag and because I'm working, and so as I'm swishing the bag through it, I'm doing my intention. I'm doing what it is why I'm here and why I'm doing this. I'm sending that out. And then you can just either hang that on the nozzle of the tub, or you can just let it float around the water. But you want to make sure that the herbs aren't just floating around, because they'll clog your drain unless you have a strainer on your drain. So I'm going to be using the echinacea. I'm also going to be using lavender, because the echinacea doesn't really have a smell to it. Dried, it smells herby when it's like with heated water. Like when I drink echinacea tea, it just smells like herbal tea. It doesn't have like a sweet smell or anything. And I want the lavender. Lavender is good for calming, for just relaxing. And I wanted to use that because if the echinacea is going to empower my work, if it's going to amplify my work, if it's going to increase my psychic insight, then I want to be relaxed. I want to be calm and open to that. So, and lavender smells good. So, to me anyway. So, I'm going to be using lavender. The other thing that I'm using is Epsom salt. And, just salt. I don't need to show you a picture of it. It's Epsom salt. I've got a big, huge bag of it here. I use it often. It's really great if you've got, like I have an old back injury. My back kills me all the time, so it's good to soak in a bath. It's good for your feet. Soak your feet. If you've got tired feet, it's really good. You can use it for a lot of different things. So I'm using Epsom salts for my bath little bag that I'm going to be making. So I'm putting I've got the lavender in here. You can see some of the salt. I'm going to use more salt than that. And then I'm going to take some of the echinacea. See if I can get a better picture. Do you see it? It's pink. Pretty. I'm going to put just a little bit in there. That little pinch, that's all I'm putting in there. I'm just making a small batch right now just to show you. And then I'm going to add my salt. Now, when you're doing your bath, you can use up to 2 cups of Epsom salt to your water if you want. That's kind of like the recommended if you've got like sore muscles and aches and pains and stuff like that. 2 cups. So, yeah, so I'm not going to do that, you know, whole thing right now. And I'm just mixing this up with the salt. And the other thing is if you wanted, like if you wanted, you could crush your echinacea, you know, grind it with your mortar pestle, and just blend it, or you can just layer it, however you want to do it. I'm going to leave my petals full. I don't really feel like crushing them. So, yeah, I'm just kind of mixing it up just a little bit in my little bowl here. It's just mixed up with the lavender and the salt. And then when I came out here, I forgot to bring anything to put it in. So I'm just going to put some in this tube that I have. I used to make things with these tubes that I sold at the store. They were like soap, bath kits and oils and all kinds of things that I would, you know, that I would use these for, and wax seal them, and then you know, we sold them at the store. Sold them, went to I vended at Pagan Pride, and sold them at Pagan Pride Festival. And so yeah, they did pretty well. I should try to do it again for the store, but I do so much stuff at the store. I don't have time. It's so much work. All right, so I'm just going to do this halfway. You're going to get the drift, promise. So like I said, I'm sorry, all I had was this little test tubey thing, but you can kind of see that's kind of pretty. So you could make these, you know, to somebody who maybe wasn't feeling well, or just like I said, the same thing, like, you know, for spell kits and stuff like that. So I've mixed the salt, the lavender petals, you can see them in there, and the echinacea. So what I'll do is I'll take this and I'm going to put this in one of the muslin bags. The thing that I like about the bags is that you can wash them, take the herbs out, and then wash them and reuse them if you want. And I just wash them with, you know, dish soap. I just wash them and rinse them out real good. And sometimes I might wash them out with some vinegar. But you can always just reuse them. And then when they don't last real long, like maybe about 3 uses, and then they get kind of frazzled, and you have to, you know, but they're really inexpensive. I think we sell them for like, I don't know, they're like 75 cents, 50 cents, something like that. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in the bag, and I'm going to, as I swish it through the water, I'm going to be thinking about those things that I said. I'm going to be talking about, you know, being grateful for my growth, this spin of the wheel, you know, grateful for my patience, because I had to be patient for them to grow and to be ready. 3 years I waited. You know, grateful. I'm just totally grateful for everything, lessons and just everything. So, and then I'm going to light. Because you know, fire magic. Hello. I'll have a green candle. I'm sorry, not green. Orange candle. I'm looking at this green candle right here. It's going to be an orange candle in honor of Lughnasadh. I went back and forth between orange and brown, but the orange is more, has a little more energy to me. I don't want to be completely grounded. I think the lavender is going to help with the grounding, so that I can absorb, you know, the that power of it assisting my intention, my gratitude, and all of that, assisting my growth, assisting the amplifying, not assisting, but and assisting, amplifying the growth, and amplifying the patience, and amplifying my gratitude, and all of the things, whatever else I'm going to say. And the lavender is going to help keep me calm so that I can, or not keep me calm, but calm. I'm just going to be relaxed so that I can absorb anything that might be coming through, any messages, because of that psychic insight. You know, if there's any messages, if there's anything that I need, I want to be clear. I want to be clear with that. And then the Epsom salt. Look, my body is broken. I ache every day, and it really does help with that. You don't want a hot bath, just a nice warm bath. And so, just in thinking of all those things, you know, that the tea warms you up, and here we are in midsummer, and you know, the growth and the stability and all of that. Those are why I'm using all the things that I'm using. So I'm going to light the orange candle to help with that empowerment of it, and then I'm going to use a pink candle in honor of the echinacea, because it is this pretty pink, bright pink. There are other echinaceas, they call them echinacea, which is orange. There's some, I think there's some yellow ones, I'm not sure, white, I believe. And what I've read and what I've researched, I'm not an expert, disclaimer, I am not an expert. But what I've read are those are and can be slash are hybrid. And so the purple cone flowers, that is echinacea. So from what I read. So don't anybody get mad. So that is what I'm going to do. When I'm done, I am going to take the remainder of the echinacea, these little leaves that I have here, because this first harvest, I'm only doing this magical working. When the other ones get ready to harvest, I am going to save some for the winter months for teas, and then I'm going to save some for magical workings. You can also, if you want, you can make an infusion. I think it's like, I don't know, 2 ounces of the echinacea, something like that, 1 or 2 ounces, and then I think it's like 4 cups of no, not 4 cups, 4 ounces. I think I have it here. Let me look. So 2 ounces of dried, or if you're just picking it and you want to use fresh, it would be 4 ounces of fresh. And you put it in a pint jar or a quart-sized jar. Sorry, I am so confused. A quart-sized jar. Okay, so 2 ounces of dried or 4 ounces of fresh herbs in your jar. Then you're going to take, in a quart-sized jar, you're going to take a pint of water, boil it, bring it to a boil, and then add that to your jar, your quart-sized jar. A pint of boiling water to your quart-sized jar. Let it sit. You want to let it sit for half an hour, an hour. Then you need a strainer. Go to your bathtub, water's in there, pour the infusion through the strainer so that the strainer catches the herbs. I feel that. Whew. I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to do that also, in addition, another time. I love that. It just sounds so good to me. And then at the end, I'm going to take the remaining herbs that I have of this harvest, because I'm not going to use these for the infusion. Like I said, this that I have here is strictly for this working that I'm going to do on the 1st, which is Lughnasadh. That is when I'm going to do it. And then afterwards, I'm going to take only the fresh ones, not the ones that I've had in my bath water, but the other ones. And I'm going to take them down to what we have now, here on my property, what we have now named, my group, our group. I'm going to take it down to the Crossroads Creek, and that is where we leave our offerings, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it down there. I'm going to offer it to you know, the earth spirits, Mother Nature, Gaia, whatever, and I am going to give gratitude and thanks. And I'll have to put some long sleeves and some mosquito juice on because they're huge, but I want to do that. And I want to make sure that I give back to that which has given me this eye-opening thing about a Sabbath, because that's what it boiled down to, was Lughnasadh being the first harvest, and now you have your first harvest. Patience, growth, patience. Love it. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, so I hope that you like this. I'm going to post some still pictures at the end of this video. So I'm going to say goodbye and then watch, because I'm going to hopefully, if you don't see any pictures, it means I couldn't figure out how to do it. You guys, I need a class. I definitely need a class on how to do editing and lighting and computers and all that. Okay, so, but stay tuned and hopefully they'll be on the end, all right? Sorry I didn't do a video last week. I'm trying to do videos every other week, but last week was crazy busy for me. I have a lot of stuff going on, and so I apologize for that. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I might do a video well, I won't do a video until after I do Lughnasadh, which is Tuesday, so that would be another week. So there you go. Hope you guys then, if you're celebrating Lughnasadh / Lammas, or you want to try something like this, if you have a first harvest, just think, think about what it is that's being offered you, instead of like, oh, it's offering me a pretty flower. Think deeper, go deeper. All right. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a good week and take care, be kind, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Love you.